It's time for the sharpest minds in the beauty industry to come together from around the world to share their brilliance, knowledge and know-how to help you grow personally and professionally. These are the industry disruptors, the trendsetters, the leaders that think differently and change the standards forever. This is Lessons with Legends with your host, Jason Everett.
Hey, what's up guys? It's Jason and I'm pretty excited today. I mean, you guys know that I hang out in pretty excited land all the time, but it's very rare that I get to kick it with somebody as awesome as the guest I have today on today's Lessons with Legends show. And if you're new to Lessons with Legends, do me a favor and comment below and say you're new, because I'd love to get a chance to meet you. And also, I'd love to find out where you are on this live broadcast from. So no matter where you are in the world, do me a favor and comment below. Because there's going to be some great stuff going on today, and I just want to get an opportunity to hang out with you guys and learn a little bit more. So the guest that I have today, which most of you guys know, right? Like, no spoiler here. You knew I was going to interview him. The guest I have today is incredible. He and I had the pleasure of knowing each other probably now for, I think it's been like 7, 8 years, something like that. I've just seen as his career has grown and launched and just kept going, that he is just like a force to be reckoned with. And when I called him, I said, Sam, dude, I would really like to find out all the cool things that you're up to, what's been going on. So here's the thing. If you don't know Sam Villa, watch this quick clip of what he talks about and how his tribe has evolved over the last couple of years. And you're going to learn some really good stuff about Sam himself. Before I show you the video, I wanted to just say this. The thing that blew my mind is just last year in 2017, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award from NAHA. They don't give that out to just anybody, Lifetime Achievement. And no offense, Sam, because I know you're listening. To win an award like that when you're still alive is a big deal. That's a big deal. You're not that old. I think you'll be around a long time before you go anywhere. So here's the thing. Lifetime Achievement Award for NAHA. Been in the business 42 years. He's currently a reality TV star, for crying out loud. He's on the Look All-Stars on CW, so check your local listings. So you guys, without further ado, watch a little bit of Sam Villa if you haven't met him yet, and I'm going to bring him on in just a second. All right, here we go, guys.
We all have similar values at the Tribe of Sam Villa. It's about sharing those values, about really understanding what value means and what value means to a team, to a tribe. At Sam Villa, we're going to take this industry, tilt it upside down. And when we tilt it right side up, we're going to rebuild the industry through education. So it's about the tribe of Sam Villa. The heart of Sam Villa is education. Join our journey, my friends, and we will change your life behind the chair.
All right, guys, please welcome Sam Villa. What's up, Sam?
Hey, Jason, it is a pleasure and honor to be with you today, my friend, and thank you so much for that awesome, incredible introduction. And what was so funny was what you said about Lifetime, because when I got that award, I thought, what are you guys trying to tell me, that I'm done, that I need to retire, or what's up? Because it's so funny. But anyway, I still got lots of life left in me, but it's great to be with you today.
Dude, it is awesome to have you on. I'm really excited. If you guys are excited, do me a favor and comment below, excited. I'm going to ask you guys to comment nonstop during this thing. And do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the love button. Every time you hear something incredible from Sam, pound on that button so we can see you guys and know that we can that we're getting some good love from you guys. And I'm sure the more you guys interact, the better we're going to be. So here's the deal. If you've never been to a Lessons with Legends, and we've souped it up, hopefully you guys can see there's some new cool stuff going on. And I'm excited Sam's the first of our brand new edition of Lessons with Legends. And Sam, yeah, man, I think it's hilarious. Like, you get a Lifetime Achievement Award, and you're like, does that mean I gotta like throw in the towel, or like I got more work to do? Because don't you feel like the best years are still ahead of you for what you're gonna do? Like, doesn't it feel that way?
You know what? People go, are you going to retire? I go, I don't know. There's something about the industry where it just keeps you going, man. It keeps you young. I still got at least 10, 15 good years left in me.
At least, man.
And I've been doing this for 42 years. So, like my good buddy Chris Barron says, I started when I was 1.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, clearly. Nice early in that situation, right? Well, right. So, and again, you guys do me a favor, comment below, say, hey, Sam, just so he knows that you guys are here too. But yeah, man, Sam, we got a good show on deck. We got some really cool questions. I want to ask Sam about how he sees the the future of the industry and kind of what's going on. And Sam, I know you don't have a crystal ball, right? I mean, nobody does. But I think by just, learning from people who've been in the industry for 42 years, but are also like setting trends. Like to this day, you are still doing things that other people would love to do. They look up to you and they see you as this amazing mentor. But dude, here's what I love about you, Sam. I'm just going to say this, like, just bragging on you a minute. So I said to Sam, like, dude, I'm excited to be on with you. You're such a rock star. And Sam said back to me, no, Jason, we're rock stars. Okay? And now I just want you guys to get this, because if you don't know Sam, and some of you guys might not, most of you guys probably know Sam, but like, what I think you got to know about Sam Villa is that, like, that's you in a sentence, Sam, is that it's not like, you're like, I know, man, thanks for giving me the love, but this is really about us together doing more. And I think that's why people freaking love you and crave you. I mean, if you guys don't know, Sam has like, just over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's got near 1 million people on Instagram. Like, and I know some of you guys are like, I would love to have that for me. So in this interview, while we're hanging out, I'm going to try and like dissect Sam's brain as best as possible and like extract from him what are some of these secrets to get to this level, but also give you practical advice as a salon owner, as a stylist, and just as an artist, and whether you're in the salon industry or any other industry, what you can do to be amazing. So anyway, Sam, I'm just pumped to talk to you about this stuff.
I'm loving it. Loving it.
Cool. So I'm gonna dive in. I want to start you with like a softball question to get into this conversation today. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Softball question for you, Sam. What is your favorite place on earth other than home? Who doesn't love home, right? Because you got a beautiful baby at home, you got your wife at home, you got all this stuff. Who doesn't love home? How's the baby, by the way?
Mateo is just growing. I got to tell you, Jason, new kind of love, puts a smile on my face every day. Yeah. And every time when I come home from a trip, the little guy's doing something different. Right now, he's loving music and he's getting into drums and just beating stuff. So we got him this little toy drum set. It's just amazing watching a kid grow.
I love it, man.
Have kids.
Yeah, well, my youngest son is the same age, and I think it's just awesome. So we got to get them to hang out on a play date while we're doing something.
I would love that.
It'd be good. So besides being at home, because again, that's number one spot for me. I think it is for you too. But besides being at home, what is your favorite place on earth to be? What would you say?
There's only one place, and I try to go there as often as I can. As a matter of fact, my wife and I were talking about it about a month ago. We got to get back there, and that's Hawaii.
Hawaii? What island?
I absolutely love Hawaii. I love going to the island of Lanai because it's very quiet. There's only 2 big hotels there. That's it. But I love going there. If I had another choice, it's Maui. But my primary choice is Lanai, and I love playing golf there.
Okay. All right. So golf on Lanai, that's the spot you would be if you could be anywhere and do everything from there. That'd be it. Yep.
That's what people ask me, Jason. They go, what's the most odd thing that people don't know about you? Number one, I love to fish for bass.
Okay. All right.
Those big mouth bass, that's right. And then I love to play golf. Okay. So you think about, people are like, well, whoa, wait a minute. You like to fish for bass and you like to play golf? I mean, but those are the things that I love to do.
Yeah, so, I know, right? From a hairdresser, you're like bass fishermen and golfing. I wouldn't have expected that. That does surprise me, actually. I don't like either of those things, but I do like Hawaii. So that's the good news. That's the good news. Dude, awesome. Okay, good to know. So now if you guys know, if you want to really bribe Sam, get him a trip to Lanai. I think he accepts things through PayPal, so you can just send him a trip to Lanai. Okay, so we want to talk about the future of the industry, Sam. But I think one of the things that's really helpful is to understand kind of what gets you going. And, people always ask me about, like, motivation, right? They're like, how do you stay motivated? And I wish I could just, like, we're going to make pills that just say motivation pills, because I think sometimes motivation is just garbage. But you got to kind of get internally motivated. I want to know, Sam, what makes you get up in the morning and push as hard as you do? Because I know you're one of the hardest working dudes that I know. What makes you get up in the morning and really push?
Well, right now there's one thing that continues to make me push. It's the fact that the way I see the industry changing. So one of the things that I want to continue to do, and that's add value to the industry. Uplift the industry through education, add value through teaching. But that's the one thing that really pushes me every morning, aside from family and aside from the typical thing, Jason, which is passion and love for what you do. But for me, it's all about teaching. But it's this value thing, this value story that I'm on right now for the industry. So that's what's pushing me hard every morning to do what I do.
Wow, man. So it's the value, it's the teaching. I mean, it's all of those other pieces. And what would you say, like when you wake up in the morning, are there like any rituals? Are there things that you do to kind of get your head there? Like, is there anything like that you do?
I love having my morning coffee before I do anything.
Yeah.
I love doing that and just sitting with myself and out in the back, the patio, just outside here in Florida. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful in the morning, nice and quiet. And then, obviously I think it's important that you meditate. And I try to do that every day. I would say I probably hit it about every day. I might miss one here and there, but it's really important to have that quiet time where I'm not really thinking about anything. It just puts me in the right frame of mind and gets me in the right lane.
So do you have a way in which you're meditating that's incredible? Because I have to say, like, not to deviate to meditation forever, but I got to say I've been meditating a lot lately, and it's just totally changed how I operate.
Yes.
And so do you have I have an app? Do you have a thing? Do you have a way in which you're meditating that you really dig on right now?
No, not really. I just do it basically like I've been taught, which is basically, put myself in a nice, comfortable position and then just let it take from there. Nice. And just let everything go and not, it's not easy, and it's not an easy thing to do, especially if you have a busy mind like I do.
Oh, man.
Constantly thinking, you got the Redken channel and I got my brand channel that I think of.
Yeah.
So there's constant things going on, but it's really just a matter of just setting everything aside and just having a peaceful moment and getting myself in that correct lane to operate for the day.
Yeah, dude, I totally love it. And by the way, if you're meditating at home or you have something, do me a favor, comment below and say meditate. And I'd love to find out, what type of tools you guys are using. I have an app called HoloSync. Maybe I'll put that in the comments for you guys. You just plug it in for like 30 minutes. You put your headphones on, and you just kind of let your mind just relax. You know what I find, Sam, is like just what happens for me is like the most incredible ideas come to me after I meditate. And like I just have these big visions of what I see and what I want to do, and I'm like, wow, where does that come from? Like that 30 minutes of time, like just is like all the juice in one shot of like just all my brains functioning. So, dude, I love hearing that.
You know where it comes from me, which is weird, is the shower.
Yeah, it's the best ideas, right?
It's horrible, Jason, because I want to write something down or I want to get it down because otherwise I'll forget it.
Yeah.
But there's some such powerful things that happen. Anyway.
I love it. Okay, cool. So again, meditation, big thing, totally excited. And again, it really helps you to flow. So, dude, I really appreciate that. So let me ask you this, Sam, because again, I think, part of it's ritual, part of it's routine. But I think the other thing that happens is like people influence you, right? And like, I mean, it's so interesting because, we met whatever it was, like 7, 8, 9 years ago in the hair industry. And like when I met you, I was like, oh, this guy named Sam, he's friendly, he seems nice. I didn't really know much about you. And then I got to learn more about you. And I'm like, holy crap, this guy does incredible things. And so now, now that I know you and know what you do, like I really look up to you. And there's a bunch of other people that I look up to in the industry that I just think have done incredible things. But I think it's always good to know, like, who did you look up to? Like in the past, who did you look up to? Who do you look up to now? Who are the people that kind of like really influence you over the course of your career? Like who are those people? Because I think other people want to know.
Right. All right. Let me start from the very beginning.
Yeah, give me the list. I'm going to write them down.
Which is in beauty school, immediately the first one right off the bat was obviously Vidal Sassoon. Mm-hmm. And that was in 1976. Wow. And that was at a point in his career where Sassoon, the name was really taking off. The industry was going through, let's call it a disruption, which was taking people out of rollers and into these precision haircuts and things like that.
Yeah.
So it was Vidal Sassoon who really inspired me, like when my dad took me to my first show and I said, Dad, I want to do that. I want to teach. After that, I followed Paul Mitchell. And Paul Mitchell, I would follow him and go to his courses in Hawaii. Jason, I was probably the easiest ticket sale. Every consultant that walked in the salon always knew that they would come up to me and say, well, I know Sam wants a ticket for the show. Does anybody else want a ticket?
That's hilarious. I love it.
That's how much I loved education at the time when I was young. Then the other one after Paul Mitchell was a kid that I actually had the opportunity to assist in a show in one of the first salons I worked with, is Anthony Moscolo from Tony and Guy. Oh, and Anthony was 18 at that time, and this guy was weaving, making hats out of hair and weaving. So he really influenced my career. Then another person came along, and that was Trevor Sorby. Trevor Sorby was the one that really, he once again disrupted the industry and created this interruption of diffusing hair and working with scrunching it and working with your hands. So he influenced me. Then, what can I say? My Redken family. I have to say, Jason, my Redken family has made me who I am today. Yeah. They have made me the teacher that I am today. I mean, all these people that I followed, they really gave me, I followed them and I'd always watch how they taught and listen to how they were teaching. But what Redken did was Redken gave us the resources to understand learner-based, learner-focused teaching and what it means to stand in front of people and deliver, what it means to actually to facilitate. And you were one of those people, along with the man Blair Singer, that actually, Christine Schuster, who was one of my influencers, put us in front of you guys and locked us up with Blair in a hotel. I'll never forget. And locked us up in a hotel, and we went through this week of delivering at midnight. And, I mean, it was crazy. And we embraced it. It took a while, but we embraced it. And I remember both Chris Barron and I saying, okay, what do we do with this? How do we use it? And we figured it out. So, it was Christine Schuster, Ann Mincy, and my family, and Redken family, Sherry Doss, who really supports the Redken Artist Network in terms of, allowing us to have the resources, again, that Christine Schuster created. Sherry Doss is really one that really embraces the Redken artists and allows us to be who we need to be. Chris Barron, what can I say about it? Coach Chris Barron, he's always been a mentor of mine. We've always been side by side when it comes to Redken. Lately, we've been really apart because we're both focusing and doing different things, but he's influenced me. And then the beautiful Chris Sorby. Chris Sorby really helped me to understand how important my hands are as a tool in terms of really teaching me what true art of finishing is. Nice. And then, but that was that Redken family that really made me who I am today. So when you talk about the people that influenced me at the time, these are not influencers. I need people to get that out there. These people were not made famous by social because it didn't exist at the time. These people became famous because of what they were doing for the industry in terms of the shows and how they were touching people. So once again, that was Paul Mitchell, Anthony Mascolo, Trevor Sorby, Christine Schuster, Ann Mincy, Sherry Doss, Chris Barron, and Chris Sorby, and of course Blair Singer and that family Blair Singer. Yeah,
it's so good, right? Because I've obviously, Blair has been such a huge influence on me. I've worked with him for now, I think we're 10 years this year we've worked together. I work with Chris a ton and all these people, and again, Christine Schuster and Sherry and all these other people and Ann, they all, I think, have such a different, what I really like about all those people, because I know a lot of the people you mentioned in the Redken family, obviously I didn't know Vidal Sassoon or Paul Mitchell or Anthony or Trevor, but all of those Redken people, I think you said it, you nailed it, Sam. It's those people were influencers not because of their social media following. Right? Because of what they did. Can I just talk about that for a second? So in your mind, those people, right? Because there's this thing of Kim Kardashian as an influencer, right? I don't care about Kim Kardashian. But what was it that these people did? You're telling me Chris Sorby taught you how to use your hands as a tool, and you were saying all this stuff about Trevor, about his diffusion of hair and all this other stuff. What is the common trait, Sam? What is the common trait you think all these people who had the personal influence on you, the one-on-one influence? What's a common thread that they have in common that you saw when you were working with them?
Their artistic talent at the time.
So they were talent.
Yeah, we were seeing talent. We were seeing things done with hair that nobody had seen before in those times.
So they were new. They were innovative.
Very innovative. Paul Mitchell was a rebel. He was the rebel. He's the one that would get up there and do anything what he wanted to do, say what he wanted to say, and didn't care. And he was the rebel. Anthony Mascolo was a very creative one, in terms of what he did. Trevor Sorby, once again, very photographic. These people introduced this whole photo thing, and people would see their photos, and it was interesting, Jason, because it's the photos that made these people popular.
Yeah, so that was old school social, right?
Right.
It was still sharing photos, but you just did it in a different way, right? That's kind of the deal.
And that's why you would see this photo and you'd go, wow, look at that. And then the first thing you would do is look down at the bottom and see who did it. So that's how these people, and then when they would come in the area, you obviously would go see them. So
they were big deals, and then you came and saw them in person, and they would transfer a skill through their talent, yeah?
Oh, yeah. You bet.
What do you think? Again, so now you're one of those people, right? So you've taken influence from a lot of these people. And I would venture a guess that, fast forward us 10, 15 years, and people are going to say, Sam Villa is my guy on this list, right? People are going to say Sam was that guy. Or you're going to be the Vidal Sassoon to that person in the future. What do you hope you communicate to people? What do you hope your transfer of talent is to people?
I think I hope people get from me, one of the main things is communication builds wealth. Mm-hmm. So at the chair, they have to understand that their hands communicate, their voice communicates.
I like that.
And hairdressers need to understand the good Lord gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And you have to use your ears more than use your mouth. So it's great listening skills, aside from great communication skills that build the success at the chair.
Yeah.
I think as a hairdresser, you have to understand that. Jason, I was a shy kid. I remember this.
Yeah.
And my dad said, look, if you're going to be a hairdresser, can't be shy anymore. You need to start speaking and just smiling and start speaking to people, and you need to practice it now while you're in beauty school.
Yeah.
And my dad was right. You know, it's a communication skills industry aside from a skill set industry.
Right. Yeah. You got to be. I mean, again, I think like you said. I mean, that communication is so key. I love what you said. If you guys got this, do me a favor. Somebody type it in the chat for me. Is you communicate with your hands. Like, yes. Dude, that is so good, because I think so many people are like, well, you know, I tell people what to do and I ask them to do this and I do all these things. I'm like, yeah, but what are your hands saying? What does your body say? What do your eyes say? Right? Like, how are you communicating in like 360? What's going on? What is the chair communicating? What is the salon saying? Right? Like, everything communicates something, and it either is a +1 or a -1 is how I would say that, right?
So true.
And it's so interesting when you look at it, and I love what you said, man. Your hands communicate. That's so good. It's so good. So you guys, if you're digging this interview, by the way, and you're loving all this stuff that Sam has, would you guys do me a favor? Would you share this interview with other people? I want more people to hear from Sam while we're on live. We're going to be on for a little bit longer here. We're going to do a whole hour show. So if you guys have questions, you can comment. You can ask them. I've got some questions that I've got for Sam, but I'll see if my team can pick like the best of question that comes in. If you're like, oh my gosh, I got to get this question. I'll see if my team can pick one out, and I'll try and sneak a audience question in for Sam. And by the way, too, if you guys want, because I know some people just pop on and pop off of this, if you guys want the whole recording, do me a favor, throw any comment below. Just say the word recording, or say I want it, or say whatever, and I'll send you the link so you can get the full recording after this video. So if you don't have a full hour to hang out with us, we've been on 20 minutes. If you can't stick around for the whole time, that's cool, but I want you to stay, because if you can stay, because you can get your questions answered, right? Pretty cool stuff. So you guys, do me a favor, share the video right now, follow Sam, hit the share button down there, and we got some more stuff that I think are rocking and rolling. And Sam, I love hearing about all your influencers, man. I think it's such a big deal. Now, here's the thing. So we've talked about why you do this. We've talked about who's influenced you. But I want to know, since you've been doing this 42 years, you said your parents been doing this, like, what have you seen as the biggest shift in the industry? Because I think sometimes there's monumental shifts that happen. In 42 years, what's the thing that you've seen that's just shifted the industry completely on its head? And I know you mentioned that in your intro video, right? It's like you want to help shift the industry, but what's the shift you've seen?
I'd say the biggest shift that I've seen is this disruption of social media. Now, I want people to take the word disruption and make it a positive. It's not a good or a bad thing, so people need to know that. Yeah. Let me just put it this way, Jason. The taxi industry had a disruption.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a company out there that owns the taxi industry, but they don't own one car.
I know,
they
right?
don't own one taxi. It's called Uber.
Right.
There's a company out there that's taken over the movie industry, and they don't own any brick and mortar, and they're called Netflix.
Yeah, totally.
So now let's take a look at the industry. What's happening in the industry? Everybody is up in arms about this whole thing of Amazon and retail. The age of Amazon is what I call it.
Yeah, watch out.
So people are talking about this disruption in terms of social media, in terms of influencers. They're talking about in terms of education, a disruption of social media versus education, a disruption of social media in terms of retail. So my thing is this, is the industry, we have to understand we're facing a new reality today.
Yeah.
And that new reality is about thinking about professional retail. So, you know, the public may put demanded some easy access to beauty products. That's all they're asking, and that's called the age of Amazon. So it's redefined the way people shop and their expectations in terms of availability. So as hairdressers, we have to be aware of that.
Just know it's there. I mean, you either fight it or you can understand it, right?
And Jason, here's the thing. That's why hairdressers at the chair have to go that extra step and add value behind the chair.
Yeah.
They have to understand that Amazon is not a good or a bad thing. Let's just get that straight right now.
Well said.
We have to understand that disruption is an interruption that we all have to embrace. So you have to discover ways to continue thriving in the retail business. And disruption, like I said, it's just simply an interruption that's here to stay.
Yeah.
So how do you embrace it? Here's one way that I suggest you embrace it.
Yeah,
I want salon owners and the stylists out there to hear what I have to say, because right now I'm about to impact your life at the chair.
Do it, man.
Think this way. We are a high-touch industry, meaning we touch people with our hands. But everybody's talking about high-tech, how social, where everybody's trying to get building their industry through social, building their clientele through social. I agree, you got to do that. Building their skills through social, through live webinars. I agree, you got to do that. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go the extra step. And when you get to that time when it's time to blow dry the client, think about this, guys. I want you to ask the client for their phone. I want you to put it on your tripod, or a tripod you have, and I want you to, or hand it to the associate who you train, and I want you to videotape you doing a video tutorial teaching the client how to blow dry their hair.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's on their phone, and you're talking product. You're telling them how to use the product, what product you're using. You're telling them what brush you're using. You're showing them how to use the brush, and it's all on videotape. So and then what you do, can you feel my excitement, guys? Yeah. And then what you do is you go in and you hand that phone to the client, and you say, here's your tutorial. This is your tutorial to take care of your hair. Now, that's moving forward.
Totally.
You got to think about how ways you move forward. So now I'm going to take it even a step further.
Do it.
Training. Okay? Imagine if your associate is holding the client's phone training. Now your associate, the person you're responsible for training, is being trained with intent and purpose. And you don't think they're learning? Because they're listening to what you're saying. They're watching what you're doing, and they're getting it on videotape.
Yeah, and they have to be focused. That's your point, right? Is they can't be like thinking about other things. Like they've got a job to do, and their sole focus and intent is on the interaction, right?
Yes, exactly. See, now that's adding value to an appointment time. I'm not going to charge the client for it.
Yeah.
That's adding value. See, and then what they need to do, everybody needs to understand, like people go, well, Sam, you keep talking about value. First of all, let's define value. Value is just simply knowledge. So you have to understand, stylists out there, salon owners, you have to understand that as a hairdresser now, you're a teacher at the chair.
You have to be.
Be a teacher at the chair. You're showing them little quick tips and tricks, little things that you weren't showing them before. If a client's sitting there and they got a bruise on their thumb, ask them what happened. Oh, I was hanging up a portrait. Well, when they have that, I want you to tell them, oh, let's see if I got one. No, I don't have one. I thought I did. Tell them to take a little grip, take a hairpin grip, put the little screw in there, hold it there, and pound it in. That's value.
Yeah, like just add that piece of value that's like some bit of knowledge you have that can impact your life, right?
And it had nothing to do with hair. So another way to do it, Jason, is I think every stylist out there should be investing in a mannequin and a tripod. Get yourself a Chris Sorby mannequin. Yeah. Get yourself a pivot point mannequin. And I want you to take that mannequin, and while the color is processing, you have to understand there's no value in the back room. Get out of the back room. There's more value in the salon floor. Yeah. So get on the salon floor, walk that mannequin over that client, and while her hair color is processing for 30, 45 minutes, teach her how to do a simple braid. And by the way, her hair is this short. But what you're going to do, guys, is you're going to make her the hero of the family. See, that's adding value behind the chair. And not only that, can you imagine? You're on the show floor, and everybody else is busy. Their clients are watching you going, what's that girl?
Yeah, why is she getting a tutorial? Yeah. Why is she getting a video recap of what she's doing and all these other things, right?
See, so that's what I'm talking about, embracing this disruption. I think you need to go in, and they need to understand that, you say, well, why do I need to buy retail from you? So what I want them to do is I want them to start tell versus sell. Get the attitude of sell out of your head and just get the attitude tell. Have that attitude. Tell. Like, look, you're putting elastics on your daughter's hair. I want you to coat your elastics with Redken Outshine 01 so it buffers the cuticle. See, I'm not talking features and benefits of a product, guys.
This is not like, it's going to give you, it's just tell them how to use it in their real life, right?
Exactly. And then tell them, look, the reason retail is so important to us because our salon owner takes the retail, and the money that we make from the retail, that retail actually sends me to a show. So see, it keeps it in the community, our salon. It helps us to grow. So put something behind it. Aside from the fact that you want to that you want them to use this for their hair, put something behind it that says you're actually supporting the community, the salon, by buying from us.
Correct.
And not buying from Amazon.
Yeah.
Or buying from down the road.
One of my business partner, Doug Campbell, he has this sign that they have inside their salon at every station. It says, when you buy retail from us, here's what we give our stylists.
Love it.
Right? It's super good. And it says like, it pays for events, it helps them do more education, and it makes them better hairdressers for you. Because I think to your point, Amazon's not going anywhere. We're not going to stop people from buying from Amazon. Like, it's just not going to happen. But to your point is like, if I go through the process and like somebody literally shows me, here's what I want you to do and how I want you to do it, and it's right there in my hand, the first thought I have is not, can I get this cheaper somewhere else?
Yep.
Right? The thought is like, Sam, you really helped me out. And if you insert that comment and say like, you know what? And by the way, if you happen to pick up any of this retail, and this is key, if you happen to pick up any of this retail, it really helps me because it pays for education and events and things like that I do, and it makes me better for the next time we're here. And all of a sudden they're like, of course, if it's $2 more for me to buy that shampoo from you, why wouldn't I pay $2 more to help support my hairdresser and receive a better education? Right?
Well, guess what, Jason? If you give them value, you give them all these little tips, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to say, you know what, I'll take that shampoo you recommended. I'll take that conditioner. That's their way of saying thank you, guys. If you really want to do it, a professional way. Now, I don't know what's going on in your life out there, guys, but here's one thing I'd say. You know what? If you're going to tip me, I would prefer if you take the tip and put it in towards that shampoo and conditioner I recommended. That's the professional.
Right. Now, it's okay. So wait, I gotta, that's a big thought, Sam, because
some of them out there, Jason, are saying, no way, Sam. I
know. I can imagine people are freaking out right now. They're like, but that's my tip.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to talk about that. Like, we can spend the rest of the time talking about that because I think people's little voices, to our friend Blair Singer's point, is that people's little voices are going to go nuts. If you said, you know, I appreciate you tipping me, but I would love it if you were able to get that retail and take it home with you. Holy crap. That's crazy, right? But why? So in your mind, let's talk about this. I'm going to be the hairdresser for a second and say, no way, Sam, I don't want to give up my money. Like, that takes straight from my shoe fund, my eating money, my rent money. It just goes to the salon because they keep selling, the manufacturer keeps, everybody keeps selling. So what's the benefit of me saying you can use some of my tip or use my tip to buy some retail? I mean, that's a big thought. Tell me what's in it for the hairdresser.
All right. So
it's a big thought, man. I freaking love it, though.
Oh, let's talk about this because for me, Jason, I guess it's about the personality of the individual that's at the chair, and I'm talking about you, the hairdresser, the stylist out there.
Yeah, I'll be the stylist.
So you have to understand, guys, you make a choice, okay? What type of hairdresser do you want to be behind the chair, okay? I agree with you. You could live off of your tips, okay? But then I want you to take a different attitude and say, yes, I can live off of my tips, all right? But then what do you need to do to get the tip? Ask yourself that, all right?
Yeah.
What extra mile are you going to get the tip? So now let's go on the other side. Or you can get on the other side of the lane. You can get another lane, and you can say, okay, I'm not going to accept tips. My attitude is I'm going to tell them every time they want to tip me, I'm going to say, no, if you really want my opinion, I really want you to take this money, and I would prefer that you purchase that brush that I recommended for you.
So good.
Now, here's what do you think the consumer is going to think? The consumer is probably going to think, pause for a moment, their little voice is going to go, hold on, wait a minute. I just had a hairdresser decline a tip because this person's more concerned about about how I'm brushing my hair.
Yeah.
About me.
Right.
Here's the other thing. The other thing would be this, is that I'm out there teaching people how to cut hair where these haircuts have longevity. Okay? And I set the class up and I say, guys, what's going on out there? Is it true? Tell me if it's true or false. Are your clients, are they extending their appointments? And the majority of the class, 3/4 of the class will say, yes, they are. I go, why? Why are they extending? They used to get their haircut every 6. Now they're booking every 8.
Totally.
They used to get their color every 8. Now they're getting it every 10. Somebody in this classroom tell me why. And they raise their hand. They go, they want to save money. Okay, now I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you letting it be their idea? Why isn't it your idea? And they go, what do you mean, Sam? Look, I just showed you how to create a shape that has longevity. So my response would be to the client, look, Louise, thank you for allowing me to detach your haircut. We talked about how this new discovery of the way we're cutting hair is going to give your haircut longevity. Yeah. So I want to help save you money. Now I want you to book every 8 weeks, not every 6 weeks.
And they're like, holy crap, did you just... So literally, instead of being like, and this is what I'm hearing out of this, Sam, is instead of feeling like, I'm a money-hungry salesperson that wants to like extract every dollar from you, and like you really should come back in 2 weeks, and we can just maintain this look all the time. It'd be perfect. Just come in every day. And if you literally went the other way and flipped it, right? And you said to them, I want to see you. You don't have to come in as often as we were thinking. It makes such a huge difference because they perceive you as being, as you are, being valuable instead of being hungry. I think there's a term that comes to mind. It's called commission breath.
Yeah.
Right? Commission breath. And people can smell it on you when you're like working for the tip. I'll never forget, I was working with this client and they were telling me that they wanted to institute required tipping. Required tipping. And I was like, what? That's garbage. I mean, I think it's better, to your point, is if you put in place this idea. Because like, look, if you say, I'd rather use your tip money towards retail, they're probably going to buy the retail and still tip you.
Well, let's talk about a couple things you said. First of all, I'm going to ask the hairdressers out there, the stylists out there, for those of you that are booked 2 weeks out, say yes. Just type in yes.
Yeah, type it in if we know.
Type it in right now.
Okay, now,
my response to you is raise your prices.
Yeah.
You need to raise your prices. Here, let's talk about this right now. So I just gave you an analogy of these haircuts that have longevity because of discovery we've had through disconnection.
Yeah.
All right? So now people go, salon owners especially, I had one this weekend in New York City at the Exchange. Sam, how can you say that? You're just losing me money. No, I'm losing bad money and I want you to make good money. I want you to make good money. So here's what I want you to think. I want you to think about if you're booked 2 weeks out, and you turn the attitude around and you move to this other lane, guess what? You're going to fill your books more with clients that have called, that have tried to get in with you, that can't get in and say, well, he's booked 2 weeks out, she's 2 weeks out. Okay, well, let me try back later. You know, they're
avoiding and they can't get in.
You're opening your books. And so think about that, guys. And the next thing is raise your prices. Why is it in the corporate world there's a lot cost of living increase that the corporate people get? But in the salon industry world, you don't see that. Right. Now, that cost of living increase could be 0.5%, 1%, 2%, I don't know. But it exists out there.
Yeah.
But in our world, I know so many hairdressers out there that go, I'm afraid to raise my prices because I'm going to lose people. People, change the attitude and know that you're going to lose the right people.
Yeah.
And you're going to gain, you will fill those positions up with the new right people.
Yeah, so you'll lose, the right people are going to go, the right people are going to stay, and don't quit being afraid of it. And I love it, Sam. I mean, I really think that your perspective on how the industry is evolving and changing, I think so many people are kind of like that sky's falling mentality, right? And they're like, oh no, the industry's changing, and like, oh, poor me, and here's the problem, and like, I'm upset about it and concerned about it. And what I love of how you, because you said we're going to flip the industry on its head, is like, let's take this challenge or this perceived obstacle and let's make it a benefit. And to your point, you know, you say, use my tip money to buy retail. You say, let's stretch your appointment out a little bit and go the other way so that you are the valuable resource that the client actually is shocked and impressed by what it is that you do, right?
Yeah. Well, it's all based on, you know, this whole concept, you know, this word I keep bringing up. To me, disruption can create opportunity. And you've got to think that way. You really need to think that way in today's world.
Well, if you think about, you know,
that's the shift that's happening right now is this whole thing about, you know, retail and education. On the education side, Jason, you know what's happening, my friend? Come on, guys, do me a favor. Pick your beautiful self up and get to a live educational event.
Gotta go, man. Gotta go.
Listen, the computer can't touch your heart. Right now, I want to give you a hug. But I can't because I'm in a screen. But if you see me at an event, you come up, say hi, man. You get your hug shake, you get a handshake, a hug. We get to talk. You get to, you know. I was at a class. This one girl asked a question. She said, "Sam, I feel like I'm I'm getting like just depleted. My energy is depleted because I come back really enthusiastic. I'm in a salon of 16 people, and I'm the only one here. I'm the only one that goes to education. When I come back, they ask me, why are you doing it that way? That's not the way we trained you. Then they come back later in an hour. They're like, will you show me how to do that? But then again, they don't take the time to learn. And so I told her, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? And guess what, Jason? She goes, yeah, you're right, Sam. I probably need to leave. I go, yeah, it's time to leave. How many salon owners I got in this room? A lot of salon. I go, do me a favor, go talk to her at the break.
Yeah, no joke, right?
I don't know about you. I would love to have her in my salon.
Yeah.
Now, that would never have happened had she not been there live.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it, right? I mean, you and I both do live events, and I think live events are so key because, I mean, this is good. Like, don't get me wrong, being on social is good, but being in person is like a whole different thing, you know?
Yes,
I mean, I hope that Sam and I have a little bit of energy that's transferring through the video. I think it's hard to hang out with Sam and not have more energy, right? But I think for showing people live is where it's at. And if you want to attend more live events, say more live in the comment section below. Because I think you should go. And if you see Sam, like Sam and I are going to both be at Symposium, the Redken Symposium coming up in 2019 in January. So if you're not going to that, like, get to that. That's a pretty incredible event. I think actually we should plug some other events, Sam, because I'm thinking about it. We're both going to be at Millennium, right? You're going to be at the Millennium Conference.
I'm going to be in Scottsdale at Millennium in September, or what is it?
It's the end of September, early October. So I think it's September 30, October 1st and 2nd. And so that would be another one too to go to. That would just be incredible if you don't have some. So just check out some live events.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And Symposium, Jason, I just want to say I'm excited because for the first time I'm going to step out of the classroom and I'm going to be doing a hands-on class.
Whoa!
So really excited about that because, hey, come on, guys, you know as well as I do, hands-on is where it's at. You can get a really strong learning curve there. At Millennium, I'm going to be doing a classroom on Sunday, and Monday I'm going to be doing the grand opening. Very honored and excited about that.
Yeah.
In the classroom, it'll be myself and Andrew Carruthers just cutting up some hair and sharing with you what's happening.
Andrew's such a rock star, too. I've been working with Andrew a little bit. He's awesome. You guys are going to love Andrew. And get to some live events because, I think it's going to be huge. So get some of that stuff out. Now, again, if you guys are enjoying this video and you want to we would love to get some more people exposed to Sam and see what he's doing. Do me a favor, comment below, share the link, and if you want access to the full recording, like I said earlier, just comment anything below. We'll send you the links. You can watch the recording later. You can get access to all this stuff. So Sam, dude, everything you've said so far, in my mind, has been worth thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to a salon owner that applies it correctly, right? Because we talked to a lot of salon owners. This is key. It's one thing to get info from Sam. It's another thing to actually like make it happen and implement this stuff, yeah? So do me a favor, you guys, as you're watching this, whether you're watching the recording or with us live, I want you to be taking notes, and then I want you to write actions next to the notes. So if you're like, oh, that's a really good idea, raise my prices, but like write down, I want to do this by when. Like write that down, get serious about it, and say I'm going to bring this to my team meeting. At the end of this video, you're going to have all of these notes. All I want you to do, and this is going to sound crazy, I want you to pick one. Like just pick one. That's all I want you to do. Pick one that you implement in the next 7 days. That's it. The rest of them you can implement over the next 100 years. I don't care. You decide how long you want to take to be where you want to be. But just take one in the next 7 days and implement this thing, and your life is going to change. Like it's going to be incredible. So Sam, I got to ask you, speaking of like going forward into the future, and you talked about, you know, what kind of the big shifts are and this disruption, all this. What do you see that's shifting in the beauty industry? I'm going to combine kind of two questions I have. What do you see shifting in the beauty industry right now? Because we talked about disruption. But where do you see it going 5, 10 years down the road? What do you think is going to be the next big thing in the industry if I did ask you to kind of crystal ball the future for me a little bit?
For me right now, it's always, you know, being a teacher, it's those, I care about those people that are at the chair.
Yeah.
So the main thing that they need to get right now, what I see the next 5, 10 years, you have got to become a teacher at the chair. It's so important.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people are, you're going to survive as a hairdresser at the chair. So it's all those little things, those little value tips that I'm talking about. It's important you start to implement those. Yeah. And I'm going to make it real simple. Be YouTube at the chair. You know, you've got to be YouTube at the chair. And that's the next thing that's going to be happening 5 to 10 years. As a hairdresser, you must never cease to learn. Just like I feel as a teacher, I must never cease to learn.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that in the next 5, 10 years that people are going to have to become incredible at, and that's being a teacher at the chair.
Yeah, well, you know, Sam, you and I talked about this in Vegas, how maybe it was 2 or maybe even 4 years ago. We talked about this idea that it used to be, you know, in the buyer and seller market, right? It used to be a buyer beware because the seller had more information, and the economy has shifted to this seller beware because your guest walks in with like 88 YouTube tutorials on how the new hairstyle should look the way they want, and they're watching like all these combing techniques, and like they're more educated sometimes. This is gonna sound mean, but like sometimes they're more educated than the friggin' stylists, right? And so they come in and they're like, I was just thinking about doing a Brazilian blowout, but they know that they've watched like 80 tutorials on Brazilian blowouts. They've been trying to do it on their own. They're figuring it out, and then they show up in the chair. and they're like, oh yeah, I just like to do that. And they're very passive, but really they're like armed with this arsenal of YouTube and Facebook and all these other things. They've seen things, their friends have told them, and they know all this stuff because of social media, right? It's never before been accessible to so many people. For crying out loud, they probably watch your YouTube channel and they see, by the way, go to youtube.com/SamViaHair, the quick plug. Anyway, but the idea is that if they watch some of your stuff and then they come in the salon, they all of a sudden are armed with more to the teeth than ever before. So how do you as a stylist, Sam, keep up with that as far as education? Like, what would you say a stylist should be doing to keep on the ball and stay ahead of their guests sitting in the chair?
All right, well, let's talk about that for a moment. I want to back up a little bit, and because I had an issue happen a while back, maybe about 7 years ago, where a guy contacted me and said, hey, I'm not going to be following you anymore. I'm disappointed what you're doing. You're teaching the consumer how to cut their hair, etc.
Oh, yeah.
But I said, no, I don't want to do this over. I want a phone number. I want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to this guy.
Salon owner?
No, this was a stylist.
Stylist, okay.
And I said, so tell me, why do you feel this way? He goes, well, I love what you do, but what you're doing is you're teaching them how to cut like bangs, your twisted technique in cutting the fringe. I said, all right, let's talk about that. First of all, those people that are looking on YouTube to do that, those aren't the clients that you need or desire. Okay, so those people are looking for a freebie. Those people are looking for a discount. So I don't believe that those are the people that you want as clients.
You don't want them anyway, yeah.
So let's leave them alone. So he said, so why are you doing it? I said, well, here's why I'm doing it. I said, I want to help grow the hairdressing industry. And there are stylists out there that have 5, 6, 7 children, that have a family, and they're working 2 jobs, and they can't go to a hair show. So I'm going to teach those people, and my resource is YouTube. So I am a teacher, and I'm going to reach out to people. And the guy was like, he started kind of like, didn't say anything. And I mentioned his name. Are you still there? He said, Sam, and he's sniffling. And he said, I'm so sorry. I said, no, that's okay. He goes, I know that you mean well. He goes, I just took it the wrong way. I said, no, it's easy to take it that way. And I'm glad we had this conversation.
You're giving everything away. Why are you taking away my business? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I told him, look, I can't tell you the formula for success. But I will tell you the formula for failure is trying to please everybody. I'm not going to please everybody, but I'm going to hold to my core values, what I feel is going to help grow the industry. And some people are not going to like me, and some people are going to love me. What I care about is not how much love I get. What I care about is how much growth am I putting out there in the industry. That's what's important to me.
So good, man. So good. I mean, you guys, if you're getting this, if you are loving it, will you do me a favor and comment below? And I'm a big fan of all of my trainings. Like, put the number of exclamation points equivalent to the amount of learning you're getting from Sam right now. Because I would just like sit and hold the exclamation point down until it ran out of space. But like, I mean, seriously, like give him, 1, 2, 10, 12, 100 exclamation points. Pound on the like button, pound on the heart button, whatever you need to do. But Sam, I think, you keep talking about flipping the industry. And what I love about this is it's like, a lot of people think that it's negative that you're putting out these hair cutting tips. But again, somebody who's going to like twist their bangs and cut their own hair and have a horrible experience with it, or heaven forbid, actually become a hairstylist, that's not who's coming into your salon. You want the right people who are willing to pay for your expertise, because Googling or YouTubing one hair video is not going to make you proficient enough to cut your own hair. And I would even throw this the other way, is that you might even show it and say, look at how easy this is, but they might watch that video and go, yeah, no, I'm never going to do that again. And they would go get their haircut at a professional location. Like I've watched videos online where like you change your oil or you do something random, and then you're like, you know what? I think I'm just going to pay to have that done because that looks way harder than I want it to be. And I think that's part of what part of that byproduct of teaching it online, which is awesome. Yeah.
So the other thing too is if the people do that online and they say, "Oh, I'm going to try that on my hair," I guarantee you they'll be in a salon to get it fixed. Yeah. So it doesn't work. I want to go back to another thing, and that is that let's see, we're talking. Oh God, I just lost the thought. It was a good one too.
It's going to come back to you, but before it comes back, I have a question because somebody else asked this question. I see it from Kathy. And by the way, I think it's right on topic. She asked about what about formulas for colors? That was her rub, right? She said, forget about that. But you gave away formulas. Now they're going to go make their own somehow at home. Like, what do you think about, how do you feel about that?
Well, first of all, formulas for color, I would recommend, look, the doctor doesn't give out the prescription. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend people, so if a client leaves you and says, can I have my formula for my color? My response is no. When you get to a salon, if that stylist would like to reach out to me and we can discuss your color.
Awesome.
And after I discuss it with that stylist, I will make the decision if I will give that stylist your color formula.
And why would you do that? Just to help let everybody understand it, myself included.
Professional standards, because if you give out a formula, imagine what you're creating for the next stylist. Here's my formula that my last stylist had, and I really loved it. But you have to understand what you're doing is you just created a headache for the next hairdresser that they go to. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, you're giving them a formula that they could say, well, I'm going to go get it myself and do it myself, and now they've destroyed their hair.
Yeah,
so
because they're not going to do the same.
I stay on the standards of professional standards of no, I wouldn't suggest giving out color formulas.
Well said.
I know sometimes, Jason, people go, well, okay, you can buy your color formula. They'll sell it. Okay? Well, you want to do that? Then sell it to the next hairdresser. But as far as I'm concerned, it's about artists supporting artists, stylists supporting stylists, brands supporting stylists. Guys, we're all in this together. Do me a favor. Share the formula, but share it with the right salon professional.
Dude,
through an interview.
So good. Professional to professional. And again, understanding that, again, I think what you said really well is, it's going to be actually more difficult for them to just take a formula and use it because it doesn't quite work that well. And again, who knows? Maybe they have a different idea. I mean, I know I've switched hairdressers and like my one stylist told the other stylist some things and it just creates some chaos sometimes if it's not at the same level. And I think that's such an important factor, Sam.
Well, imagine this as a colorist. I'm not a colorist, but I have common sense that every time they come in for a color, you got to re-look at it and say, you might need to reform
you got to adjust it. Yeah,
exactly. If that thought came back to me, Jason, and it goes back to the question, these clients that are coming in, well, that's not how they did it on this YouTube.
That's not the formula she used.
That's not how he's cutting it.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to give you the formula for that, my friends. When they come in with all this loaded information on YouTube, you talk to them, you tell them, okay, great, you want that? Now, I'm going to talk to you professionally about your hair.
Your exact hair.
And does your hair fit that technique?
Right.
Okay, so let's talk about that technique and that person there. Look at their hair is a different density. Their hair is a different texture. We need to do what fits your density, your texture. So you take the route, professionals, of I know fabrics. Just like a fashion designer understands the limits and capabilities of silk, I understand the limits and capabilities of fine hair.
Nice.
As a fashion designer understands the limits and capabilities of wool, I understand the limits and capabilities of curly hair.
Yeah.
So now, let's get on with your consultation. We'll set that video aside right now. Let's talk about what's going to work with your hair. Then we're going to come back to that video, and we're going to go deep into that video, and we're going to talk about what's going to work, what piece of that video could actually work with your texture.
So
you see the approach I took, guys?
Yeah, completely different.
The purpose of a consultation, when they start popping that stuff out on you. Remember, believe in yourself, and you're the salon professional, not the person that sits there and brings in the videos.
It's really good, Sam, because I think it's interesting. Is that I hear online people talk about this all the time. Is that people don't pay for what you know; they pay for your interpretation of what you know. And I think the key, at least what I'm hearing through my own translation of what you just said, right, is that you can watch a YouTube video and get the information, but you don't get the interpretation.
Yes.
Right? And the most important part is not the information, it's the interpretation. So if you are saying, let me be your interpreter for what you just watched. Because I've heard people who watch a YouTube video to try and find out what medications to take. And then they go, oh, this is what I know. And they go, yeah, well, that's true unless you have this problem or that problem or this. You can't just take it as bulk information. You have to know how these medications interact with each other, all these other things. And hair is no different, right? It's if you walk in with brown hair versus blonde hair versus black hair, you're going to have a whole different environment that you need to be aware of. And that color formula from that one video is not going to help you.
Right.
It's really only going to help a professional who's doing the interpreting, right?
So well said.
Yeah, cool. Love it, man. So, as we kind of talk about this stuff, Sam, I got a couple other questions, and if you guys are digging this, say digging it. If you're in love with it and in love with Sam, I have been through this interview, you got to share it. Do me a favor, make sure you share this thing. And I just want to say this before we get too far in the end here, is that, Sam, this has been super good. I mean, again, like I said, tons of value out of this thing. But one of the things I think you've done really well, and we were talking about this actually right before we went on this interview, right, is you've done an incredible job of building teams. right? Building teams of people around you and doing these things. And I want to know, when you assemble a team to work with you, it could be for a, a main stage event. It could be for a photo shoot somewhere, right? It could be a behind the scenes. It could be, or just doing your social media. Like when you assemble a team, what do you look for in that person to say, I want them on my team? What does Sam Villa look for?
One word, desire.
Desire.
Yeah. And they could have desire to be a good hair cutter, desire to be a good color, desire to be a good hairdresser, desire to be a good teacher, but I want to see desire. And it's hard to find that in people nowadays. Don't know what's going on, but if I see the desire to learn, I see the desire to be a part of a team. Not the desire to be a rock star. Not the desire to be the best. I want to be the best hair cutter, Sam. I'm not too sure about that person. But if they came in, they said, I have a desire to be a great hairdresser. I want to be a good hairdresser, period. Those are the people I look for. Well, here's what I've discovered along my journey. There's, if I could rewind the beginning of my career, Jason, what I've discovered along my journey, I discovered leadership is based on inspiration, not domination. I
just want to make sure that gets somebody type that in. Leadership is based on, what did you say? Inspiration, not domination?
Inspiration, not domination. It's based on cooperation, not intimidation.
So good.
And that's what I've learned along my journey. And I think that because I've held on to that I inspire people. People go, man, you inspire me, Sam. Man, you motivate me, Sam. Man, Sam, you're so humble. See, that motivation, that inspiration, that's what I choose to do, is inspire, not dominate somebody. Okay? That being humble and putting the ego aside, which I learned from you guys and Blair Singer, that's called cooperation, not intimidation.
So good.
So that's what creates a great leadership. Now, if you can have that and you can live by that, I guarantee the team will come to you.
So what you're saying is the right people will show up when you live that way. Is that
that's
what I'm understanding?
And if you lead that way.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I had a salon, for 20 years, the two happiest days of my life. One when I opened it, and two when I got rid of it. Do I miss it? Yes. I miss the clients. I miss the team. But over that, what you have to understand that, being a salon owner is not about dominating. It's about, I want you to be a salon owner that inspires people to be at the chair. You inspire them through education.
Yeah.
You don't intimidate them. You cooperate with them. You work with them. I think that's what built a great salon. I have this saying, Jason, that a salon is not made of a group of individuals. It's made of a team of individuals.
Yeah, totally. I love it, man. And again, that's what it's about, is finding the right team, the right fit, and getting you on purpose as a group, right? I think that's such a huge thing. So, Sam, I know we got a couple questions that have come in, and I'm going to try and get a couple of them sent over to me so I can take a look at what are the best ones there. But I have one more question I want to sneak in here, because you've been doing such a killer job. We could probably talk for another hour. We're not going to, but it's awesome. It's awesome, dude. Yeah, I'm totally digging it. So, I know a lot of people come up to you and ask you a question. I want to know two things. One, what is the most common question that you get asked? And then I also am going to ask you another follow-up question, which is, what is the question you wish that they all asked you? So let's take those two on. What do people always ask you? Like, they come on and go, Sam, what?
How did you get where you're at?
How did you get where you're at? Interesting.
That's the number one question. People go, I want to be where you're at.
I want to be you. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to be you. I want to get where you're at. Someday I'm going to take your place. How did you get where you're at? That's the most common question that I'm asked.
So they're asking you that all the time. What do you wish they were asking you?
That's the question I want them to ask.
How do I get there?
Yeah. Why?
You do.
Because when they ask me that question, the learning begins. It starts beginning. First of all, I tell them, let go of your ego. Put your ego aside. Manage your ego. Have it. It's great to have it, but you got to know how to manage it. I said, learn everything that you can. That's what I did. Remember what I said? I was the easiest ticket sale for all education. Some people go, Sam, I went to that show and I didn't learn anything. Did you learn something? And I'll say, yeah, you know what I learned? And they go, what? I go, I learned what not to do.
All the things not to do, I learned it.
Right?
Yeah,
so there's always something to learn. Totally. But I think that's the most important thing is that, I love when people ask me that, so how did you get where you're at? Because then all this information just comes out and I tell them, look, learn, and never stop learning. If you develop an attitude where you think you know everything, and people some people, well, I've already learned that. I already know that. Oh, really? Well, guess what? Here's another way to do what you already know.
Yeah,
So
here's the other way.
So that you keep yourself inspired.
Yeah.
Like I tell them, there's danger in the comfort zone, buddy. Keep one foot in it. That's your foundation, your principles, and keep one foot out of it. That's your discovery foot.
Amazing. Super good stuff, Sam. I'm all about it. And again, I think one of the questions came in, I'm going to grab right now, and then we're going to do a quick, one of the questions came in. We'll see if we can get that answered real quick. One of the questions came in, and again, this is just kind of a quick off the top of the cuff, one of the ones that came in. How would you invite a client back after they've left you for a while? This is from user, and then, by the way, I'll have to pull up who that was from, but that was just one of the questions I think came up that I think I'd love to have your insight on. What kind of advice would you give to somebody like that?
Your number one resource there is social media. That's your number one resource. So you're going to use that resource to get to that client. And I would suggest, here's what you do. You send out, you know that client, whoever's asking this question, you probably know that client because you're thinking about that client. So I would suggest you do this. Pull some tiles. Get some swipes and say, hey, Mrs. Smith, I haven't seen you in a long time. I've been thinking about you, and here's some color I thought might look
value, right? You're dropping value.
Exactly. Here's a shape. If you're thinking about shape, here's a shape I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about changing, I'm thinking about you.
Dude,
so I think here's the thing, Jason. People got to get this. We're such a high tech society, man. Where's the high touch?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's the written note that says that? Send it in a written form, man.
Come on!
Do that. And I guarantee you that will touch that client again.
I love it. And Sam, last question. We got to piece out of here because I want to keep to our time. But what legacy do you hope that at the end of when it's all said and done, you've already got Lifetime Achievement Award, you got all this other stuff. What legacy do you hope that you leave?
Well,
for the industry and for your family.
Well, I choose to stand in front of people as a teacher. I don't stand in front of people as a rock star. I don't stand in front of people as a genius. I don't stand in front of people as an inventor. I don't stand in front as a visionary. Over the 42 years that I've been in the industry, Jason, so many people have shared so many things with me. I choose to pay it forward. Take that, just pay it forward. So I want people to remember me in this industry as a teacher. I want them to remember that Sam helped me grow my clients. Sam helped me grow as a hairdresser because he would take things that were difficult and he made them simple. And that's my goal, is I want to continue to add value to the industry, and that's educational value. So I say to everybody out there, let's continue to add value to the industry. I was driven not by success, but I was driven to add value to this industry. I learned about gratitude and humility along the way too. And that value and how to contribute to everyone with respect.
Yeah, so good.
You got to respect each other. I'm on this whole thing about artists supporting artists and brands supporting brands. So continue to have the enthusiasm. My enthusiasm and my passion for this industry, my friends, is going to continue. Passion to me equals enthusiasm. So I ask all the hairdressers out there, all the artists out there, all the teachers out there, and the leaders, the salon owners, I want you to use your voice to add value. And I want you to remain open to the curious, and I want you to inspire the energy this industry has to offer.
Amen, dude. Amen.
So together, man, you guys, let's unclutter our minds to understand that education is the heart which elevates the beauty industry.
Come on, Sam, dude. It has been an honor, man. I mean, seriously. Like, I know we've hung out separately, and like it's kind of fun to hang out with you on social media with people watching and doing all this stuff. But I feel like in the last hour I've learned more about you in a great way than I have in all the times we've hung out before, just because you've been so open, so willing to share. So Sam, I'm going to tell people where they can find you in just a second, but I'm going to kind of sign out. Make sure you've got all the information you want so you guys know. Again, if you guys want to get more information on Sam, do me a favor, check him out on Facebook. You can go to Sam Via Pros, P-R-O-S. So it's facebook.com/Sam Via Pros. You can find him on Instagram, Sam Via Hair, YouTube channel, Sam Via Hair, or just Google the man, Sam Via, and you will find about everything under the sun you can find about Sam. And if you guys want the recording for today, do me a favor and comment recording. We'll send you over the links so you have access to the recording of this bad boy. But Sam, dude, it's been a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
Jason, thank you for what you're doing for the industry, man. I'm so glad that you are part of the beauty industry and how you're impacting the industry. So thank you, my friend.
Dude, thank you so much, Sam. And again, for everybody else that's watching, if you want to get more information from Sam, you can go online to all of his social media resources. And if you don't know about us at highperformancesalon.com yet, do me a favor, head over to highperformancesalon.com. This interview will be posted up there within the next 24 to 48 hours. And you can also find us on Facebook, High Performance Salon, also on YouTube, High Performance Salon. And you guys have an awesome week. This has been Lessons with Legends with your host, Jason Everett, and it has been awesome. See you guys. Have a great week.